Welcome back to Racing Across America. Joined now by Jim Miller from Hawthorne. Good morning, Jim.
Morning, Seth. How are you today?
Very good. Happy to have you on board as always, talking a little Hawthorne for this afternoon. But first, I wanted to go back. A couple of nice little Illinois-bred races last weekend and restricted races last weekend. On the two-year-old side, I always like to look at the two-year-olds at this time of year and kind of anticipate what we can look for as the calendar turns and they become three-year-olds. And first up, early in the card on Saturday was the debutante, $100,000. They're two-year-old fillies going 1 mile and a 16th. And, Jim, we're going to watch the number 4, Tis Gorgeous, take the lead in the stretch and then hold off a resurgence, Razamajazzle. Tis Gorgeous, 9-5. I was kind of surprised. I'm interested to hear your thought that Razamajazzle was the 4-5 favorite in here. But that's the way it turned out. Tis Gorgeous winds up winning, however. What were your thoughts in the debutante?
Yeah, and Razamajazzle, I think, took a lot of action based off that debut race when the horse ran against Open Company in the debut and was victorious as a heavy favorite there. And I'm guessing the expectations for everybody was that Razamajazzle was going to go out there with that inside draw, find the front, and never look back. But really looking back at the race, Tis Gorgeous, this was a pretty confident ride aboard Tis Gorgeous because the horse was kept in the clear the entire way around, kind of sat with a 3-wide trip just off the pace the whole way, and then really responded well in the lane. So I thought it was a pretty impressive effort out of this runner because the focus, you're right, was really on Razamajazzle. But Tis Gorgeous just kept in the clear and definitely had to cover a lot more ground than that other horse. And while Razamajazzle was very game in the end, I thought Tis Gorgeous ran a really nice race.
Yeah, again, there are a couple of nice two-year-old fillies that perhaps we'll keep our eyes on. But on the boys' side, I definitely think these are two-year-old males that worth keeping our eyes on. The Illinois Futurity, $100,000, mile and a 16th. We'll watch the stretch run here. And the two outside horses will complete the exacta. Number 12, Dom the Bomb, 3-5 favorite. Number 11, Giant Steps Be Dancing at 22-1. And Dom the Bomb, a couple of daylight wins in 3 starts prior to this, winds up winning by daylight again on Saturday. And I think Giant Steps Be Dancing in only the second career start, pretty good second place finish. But again, Dom the Bomb, this is an Illinois bred, but I think this is a horse that stands a chance of doing well against Open Company as well.
Yeah, he's a legitimate horse, and Larry Ravelli's very high on him. He said they were offering in the neighborhood of $400,000 for this horse after the horse won while sprinting. So you have to figure that now the horse wins going a route, you'd have to expect that value goes up a little bit more. And I know Ravelli said they're going to head down south to Florida to try to get a race on the turf. And now if you get a horse that can win on the turf as well, you're really looking at a good thing. But Dom the Bomb, an impressive-looking horse in person. He's very strong, very mature horse. And this was a race here. Like you said, Giant Steps Be Dancing ran a very game race. And this is the horse that went out there, made the top, and I know Ravelli going into the race thought Dom the Bomb was going to be the horse on the lead, but it was a really patient ride by Thornton aboard Dom the Bomb because when the horse didn't make the top, he just kind of kept the horse in a good position and really found out something about Dom the Bomb and the fact that the horse could settle a little bit and then still respond in the lane. But this was a good, solid effort, and you're right, Seth. This is a horse that I think can make some noise on the national level against Open Company. They've tried to race at Keeneland once, and that wasn't a bad effort by any means. But I think Dom the Bomb's going to be a legitimate horse.
Yeah, we'll have to keep our eyes on him going forward. As you say, down in Florida maybe show up next, so we'll keep our eyes in that direction. All right, Jim, let's get a look at Hawthorne for this afternoon. First, what's the weather look like out your way?
You know what, for us, for this time of year, it's not too bad. Temperatures around 30 degrees. We've actually had a touch of the sun come out today, no precipitation, so you have a fast main track, and it looks like it's going to hold that way right through the weekend.
Yeah, we're right in the same boat. You talk 30 and no snow, it's perfect this time of year. I talked to the guys down in Florida, and they give us the Live Vicariously forecast, where they're saying, it's a little cool today, 65. So
we got to put a jacket on, exactly.
All right, let's take a look at Hawthorne for this afternoon. The opener today, a state-bred maiden special weight event. These are two-year-old fillies going 6. Your thoughts on the first?
Well, it's interesting because when you talk about state-breds, you're not expecting standouts and big purchase prices, but you have a couple of them in here. In the 4, Scat Lady Be Dancing, it was a $220,000 OBS purchase, and then Triple Hot, it was a $70,000 Keeneland purchase. And these are both pretty legitimate horses, I think, in the first. I picked Scat Lady Be Dancing on top. She's getting Lasix for the debut. She's well-bred. She's a horse that's been working fairly well coming into this spot. And the thing that I found interesting, Terrell Gore, throughout the course of the meet, on the vast majority of his horses, has ridden Emmanuel Cosme. Only a couple of horses has he put Manny Esquivel, who is our leading rider, in the saddle on. And I think part of it is because Esquivel's in such high demand that a barn the size of Terrell Gore's can't necessarily get him. But each time he's had him on, Esquivel's won for him. So Esquivel rides this horse and Scat Lady Be Dancing. I've seen her in the morning and morning drill. She looks the part. And she's a horse that we'll have to see if she runs to that purchase price. But I'll tell you, Scat Lady Be Dancing has done everything right so far, and we'll see what she shows us on the track in the opener.
Yeah, you look at an Illinois-bred maiden special weight event and a $220,000 two-year-old purchase, that jumps off automatically. But then I'll alert people who maybe guessed from the name, Scat Lady Be Dancing, same connections as the horse we just took a look at, Giant Steps Be Dancing, and Giant Steps Be Dancing went out and won first time out with Manny Esquivel on board.
Yeah, and Terrell Gore will train for these horses to run big in their first race. He doesn't want to waste any races. Again, when you have a smaller stable, he's only 15 to 20 horses, but he gets these horses ready. He's not going to waste any starts with any runners, and this is a horse ready for the first start out. He's going to start at 2, see what he has, and then kind of determine from there if you're going to run throughout the course of our winter dark period somewhere else, or if you stay here and wait for a return in the spring. But I think this is a horse coming in looking for a pretty legitimate effort in that first start out.
All right, let's move on to race number 5 this afternoon. Conditional claimer at the 12,500 level. Non-winners of 2 lifetime. They're going to go 3/4 of a mile. Your thoughts on the 5th?
Well, an interesting race here, and the horse that I'm actually focusing on is the horse I laid as the longest price in the morning line, the 6th Braveheart Native. And here's the reason why. You really need to watch this horse prior to the race, because Braveheart Native has the tendency to be a head case. This is a horse that can get geared up in the paddock while getting saddled, can get geared up going to the gate, and can get bad going into the gate. But if Braveheart Native is able to stay just a little bit calm, she gets such class relief off what she's been facing in recent starts that it's definitely going to help her chances. And you look back to the races last fall, she actually put together some pretty decent races going into that maiden breaker there, and then she's just been running way over her head. So now she's in for 12-5 today. If she can be calm and settled prior to the race, and you really have to watch that, and I'll help everybody out with the paddock analysis of the race, but if she's good leading up to the starting gate here, she's a horse that may be able to pop at a bit of a price. Okay, so some good info there. Keep your eyes in the paddock on Braveheart Native, and if this one kind of has the head screwed on properly, it becomes an even better bet this afternoon. All right, the 8th today, a $5,000 B-level claimer. These are 3-year-olds and up, and they will go a mile and a 16th. Your thoughts on the 8th? Yeah, scratch the 1 and still in here, so you're left with a field of 7. I really like the 7. Let's do it in this spot. This was a horse that dropped down to this level for that last start out, and it wasn't a bad effort. And the horse was right up close there, chasing January B well into the stretch. Then you see the comment, lost whip, and what happened more or less was when Manny Esquivel was about to get after the horse, he did lose the whip, and then he hesitated for a second, and with that hesitation was enough for these other horses to scamper away before he got going again with this horse. I think if Let's Do It, with the third start out over this Hawthorne main track in a row, should be able to get a very similar trip, because you look up and down this field set, there's not a whole lot of pace. Ideal Alluvial, probably going to be the one that sets those early fractions, but I think Let's Do It gets a similar stalking trip again. Should come running at him late, and I think you'll get all of that 5-1 and 4 in line. Very good. So there's some thoughts for this afternoon, and of course, Jim, we're taking a break here on the network next week, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, so we won't talk to you then. And you have some days off on the track those days as well, as does all of American racing. But I am noting, I pulled up the Hawthorne website earlier, and you got a promotion coming up this weekend, and I'm wondering if you know about it and can tell us. It's the Holiday Candy Bar Mystery Day. What's that all about? Well, what we're doing for the first 300 fans that come in, we're going to have candy bars, but wrapped within the candy bars are going to be different options. There's going to be some vouchers here. There's going to be Club Hawthorne points. It's going to be one of those nice little fun giveaways where you come in, you get a little bit of treat and get something in addition. But there's a chance for people to come in and just with their paid admission of $2 can win up to $200 in vouchers and that. So not a bad little deal for coming out for a holiday weekend of racing. Very nice. And even if you don't wind up with that $200 voucher, you got a candy bar. Exactly. So not a bad deal by any means at all, but it'll be a lot of fun. And then the nice thing about it, we come back after Christmas with racing a couple of days, and then we're able to extend our meet for a full week after, so racing through January 3rd. So that's a nice little way to close things out. Everybody trying to get that last race under their horse for the season before about 6 weeks off, so you'll see a lot of full fields over the last couple of weeks. All right, and as I say, Jim, we're off next week, so I guess we'll catch up with you in 2 as things wind up at Hawthorne. But in the meantime, to you and your family, everybody at Hawthorne as well, happy holidays. Well, thank you very much. Have a safe and happy holiday to you, Seth.